Hello and welcome to this brand new series called Our Dead Movies. I am your host, the snobby narrator, and if you haven't heard of me, that is because I was hired yesterday. You see, we were going to have a big name celebrity host this series, but he was ousted for misconduct, if you know what I mean. As the title suggests, this series is going to be all about our cancelled movies and all of the projects that we worked on that never really went beyond the concept stage. I will be looking at a different film on each episode, and I will be rereading the script for each one, more or less like resurrecting it like some zombified abomination that, rather than eating your brains, will rather eat up precious time that you'll be wasting listening to my droning voice rather than doing something actually productive. Before we begin with today's episode, there are a couple things I want to clarify. First, even though I will be basically resurrecting this film more or less, it will not feature a fully animated version of the film. In other words, we aren't fully resurrecting it. We're not actually making the movie because it was cancelled for a reason. The other thing that I want to point out is that. Excuse me. The other thing I want to point out is that we will not be canonizing any of these films, even if you want them to be. We just won't do it. It violates our policy. For today's episode, we will be looking at The Hitman. The Hitman is a fairly well documented film, at least in its production. It was developed fall 2012, and it was made around the same time that New Friends, an environmental fable, started production at Cartoon Shack. However, the creative minds behind the film felt like that they were losing touch with the film. They felt that they were becoming disassociated with the film, uncaring for it, if you will. Basically, if I remember, there was a quote by director Andrew Bermudez where he once said that if I don't care about these characters, no one will. And that essentially were the words that cancelled The Hitman and moved production over to New Friends, an environmental fable. But enough of that pitter-patter. Now let's get on to the actual treatment for the Hitman. This is the only complete version of the story that is on file currently. So now, let us begin. Oh, bollocks, where's the first page? Here we go. We see a dark and mysterious man who is a crafty hitman. His name is Juniper, and he is ready to take down his next target. He knows where his target is, and he knows how to get in. Dressed in a butler's attire, he heads up to the hotel room where his target is residing, lightly knocking on the door to the suite. His target answers the door and then recoils in fear. Juniper slides out a handgun and fires away. The target stumbles back and falls off the balcony. Juniper rushes to the railing and observes his target land on top of a conveniently parked car, crushing the roof. Juniper then groans in frustration that the car that was crushed is his own. And I guess that's the end because there's no fade out or anything like that, but then again, this is a treatment. Now, the treatment that I just read to you is actually a slightly older version of the story. You see, originally the film was just going to be a expressive dramatic piece about the actual hitting, or I should say the actual hit, if you know what I mean. The film was then later revised so that Juniper would have a motive to shoot his victim, who is actually named Tim. The car was supposed to be the apex of the whole confrontation, but before the new version of the script could be finished, the film was ultimately cancelled. And that concludes today's episode of Our Dead Movies. We hope that you will join us next time for our next episode, where we will be covering another cancelled movie from Mustache Maniacs Film Co. Until then, however, feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out Mustache Maniacs Film Co.'s other big movies, such as the highly popular Forest of Fear and Johnny Thunder and the Secret of Marco Polo, as well as newer films such as Alpha Team Mission Deep Jungle and Clone. Thank you for watching, and I hope I see you all next episode. Now, where's my Perrier?